Hey guys, Rufeo Bangarang here with another no bullshit guide, this time for the Royal Menagerie. This one's going to be a little bit longer than normal just due to the fight, but let's get started and hopefully we'll keep this as short as possible so you can get off of YouTube and into the fight as quickly as possible. Throughout the fight, he will consistently hit tanks with a bolt. This is not a splash damage, so don't worry, but healers just beware. His first ability he will cast almost immediately after the fight starts is Tidal Wave. Just make sure to run to the edge of the platform where the water is and you will be pushed to the other side. During this phase, pools will spawn that give a lightning resistance up and a fire resistance down. Just make sure to stand out of them for now. We'll talk about these a little bit later. There is a stacking mechanic he'll do throughout the entire fight, so just make sure to stack when that mechanic comes up. Akmorn is a tank stack ability, so both tanks need to stack away from the group. As you can see in the video, we had both tanks marked so that way they could easily find each other. Throughout this phase, he will do line attacks, so make sure to move out of the way. Earth Breath targets 2 players and will do a huge cone AoE after. It's best if these players both stack so that way they have both cones go into the same direction and makes it easier for the other players to get out. Just make sure you're not standing in the pools as this is a fire ability. His last ability in this phase 1 is Judgement Bolt. Stand in the pools to lower the damage taken as this is a lightning ability, but make sure to stack for heals. After Judgement Bolt, he will shoot down meteors. Make sure to run as far away as you can to lower the damage. After, the meteors will explode and spawn adds. Tanks just make sure to pick these up and DPS these down as quickly as possible. The big adds do a nice little tank buster, so make sure the tanks only tank one of these and make sure to use cooldowns. On the final set, there will be an extra meteor which will make the entire room fill up with meteors. Just make sure prior to the fight to mark a spot to where the entire group can run for AoE heal. After the last set of adds die, he will do a huge damaging ability, so just make sure to stack. After this huge damaging ability, he will go into phase 3. He starts phase 3 with an active time maneuver. This is where you'll have to hit a button rapidly to fill up the bar before the time expires. As soon as you land onto the new platform, run to the closest corner immediately as he will already have a line attack that will push you off if you don't. However, if you don't think you're going to make it, make sure to be as close to the boss as possible as it could still push you and you could end up staying onto the platform. During phase 3, he will have a bar of corrupted ether slowly filling up. Once it does, he does an empowered ability. It can be 3 different abilities, so just make sure to pay attention to what he is casting. One of the 3 abilities is Diamond Dust. After he casts this, basically just don't move, as if you do, you will slide on the platform and could possibly fall into a hole and or off of the platform. His second empowered ability is Earth and Fury. This is just basically an AoE damage stack, so make sure to stack for heals. And the third and final ability is Aerial Blast. This is a pushback from the center of the room, so just fight against the push, and on the very last pulse, it'll be a very big blast, so make sure to be as close to the center as you possibly can. During phase 3, a red line attack will appear, move as his tail will land here, dealing damage. Once it does, everybody needs to hard switch and kill this, as this is the best way to damage the boss. Each time his tail does land on one of the blue squares, it weakens the tile until the second time when it breaks and makes it where you can fall off. During this phase, he will randomly chain 2 players who will need to break these chains by running far away from each other as possible. Once the chains break, a burst of damage will happen, so healers be ready for this. During the entire phase 3, occasionally he will put a purple marker above your head, so you just need to make sure to get away from everybody and spread out as you would do a damage pulse around you once it expires. And that's it. It's a very complicated fight just because of all the mechanics going on. All those mechanics from phase 1 will transition into phase 3, so you need to make sure, for example, to continue to stack tanks. But other than that, if you can just focus and only care about whatever is going on the screen at the time, you will have no trouble downing the Royal Menagerie. I hope you guys enjoyed this somewhat longer, normal, no bullshit guide, but if you did, make sure to like and subscribe. Rufeo out. Bangarang.